Hey guys, Charles Barber here, and today I want to talk about wild genetics and why they're so important and why we mainly source these wild genomes. When we look at farming as a whole, we don't really see wild genetics in our food supply. What we see is cultivated varieties that have been domesticated from wild or hybridized. And so there is a standard, they're kind of like a grade, if you will. But at the end of the day, the foods that the research indicates. So when we get on Google or whatever, Yahoo, Bing, whatever we're searching, DuckDuckGo, and we start to see all this information about, like, say, cacao, right? Chocolate. We actually get blown away. But then when we go and we eat chocolate, we don't really experience what the research indicates. For example, chocolate has a compound in it known as anandamide. It's a bliss cannabinoid endorphin, and it makes you feel amazing. But most chocolate doesn't have it because of the way it's processed and because of the cultivar varieties that are out there. 99% of all chocolate comes from a hybridized version that only grows about 5 feet tall, where the original wild genetic variety can grow up to 200, 300 feet tall. And whereas in the hybridized variety needs protection from the sun so it can grow, and it grows down up in the canopy, the wild varieties just bring in the sun. And it's such a different plant. And the genetic makeup is completely different as well, because through years of cultivating and stripping down things and selective breeding things, we've actually brought out a lot of the medicines. Now, let me say that again. We've taken out, not brought out, we've taken out a lot of the medicinal qualities. Because a lot of times we want things to taste better, we want them to be, less bitter or less astringent. But when nature created that, when the Godhead created that, when the master architect created it, he created it for a reason. And everything is balanced when nature is left alone. So the less we do, the more we'll receive. Have you ever heard that? Ask for nothing, receive everything. Well, this kind of falls right in line with these wild genomes. See, these wild genomes haven't been domesticated or perverted in any way. They're just as God intended them to be. And what I've found for my own self and thousands of people that I've worked with in the Wellness Center is that these wild foods can actually turn on certain genes in our DNA and allow our body to self-heal and self-correct. And it's a big part of epigenetics and how we actually get things to flip on that have been flipped off. What are we going to do in order to get our body to switch back over? What are the tools we can utilize? And wild genetics are the key. Also, wild genetics are way more nutrient dense than any of the cultivar varieties. They also have a better resistance to pest and disease. So if a bug was to bite them, they're going to naturally have these mechanisms built within them that's going to repel these insects and repel these certain environmental situations from harming them. Whereas in these domesticated varieties are extremely fragile. And it's so funny because when I think about myself, I was fragile for a long time. I would get sick, I wouldn't feel well. There was always something wrong with me. Unless I drank, the right amount of water, took all my supplements, took all my stuff, I'd be kind of all right. It wasn't until I started traveling and started to source and try these wild genetics that things turned on that were turned off. So I'm really excited to give you guys this information today because it's part of what we do and why we do at Crucial 4. It's what I call our hedgehog because we do this better than anyone else that I know. We pride ourselves, and over 80% of all of our raw materials are of wild genome, if not wild simulated, which I'll go into in another video on farming and whatnot. And that video is actually up. You can actually check that out. It's the video that says conventional versus organic. And I go real deep into the different ways that food is being grown. But today I want to stay on track with the genetics because wild genetics are exactly what you need to help turn things on that have been turned off. And it's something that has to be done sustainably too. And I want to talk about that. But that's where wild simulated comes in. And this is something that we've really got into big over at Crucial 4 Farms and some of our partnerships all over the world. We found certain areas where the wild genetics grow, and then what we do is we go in there and we kind of co-plant. We're not fertilizing, we're not watering, we're just allowing nature to do its thing while at the same time keeping things regenerative and restoring. Because we don't want to take these wild genetics and remove them from the planet, and then what? We're left with none, right? But this wild simulated method is going to allow us to be able to reap the benefits from these wild genetics while still creating a sustainable solution for us all. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's something that I really pride myself in when sourcing in the forefront at Crucial 4, and it's something that has dramatically changed my life, my family's life, and the thousands of people that I've worked with over the years. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. Like, subscribe, share. You guys know the drill. I look forward to hearing from you. Namaste and aho.